Good evening, Dino.
How are you? You all right?
Very good, thanks. How are you going?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good.
It's so crazy watching back on this footage here from from a video.
Yeah, I actually watched it with my friend the other night and went back through the whole list of little live videos that I'd done while I was crossing the country, and I think it was the first time I actually seen myself as a stranger, and it didn't look like me, and yeah, no, it was the first time, and yeah, it was crazy, mate. It was crazy.
You've got a little less beard now.
Yeah. There was a method to that madness. I've never grown facial hair in my life, and I kind of looked the part out there on the Nullarbor, so that pretty much as soon as I crossed the Nullarbor, I got rid of it. I couldn't handle it anymore. So
yeah, I was the same sort of during the whole COVID lockdown. I just let my beard grow as well and become super itchy eventually, man. It's just gotta go.
Yeah,
but look, sorry. You go?
Yeah, it was good against the flies and the heat, so it had its advantages, I guess.
Yeah. You can see that on some of the videos. You can see there's a lot of flies all around your face there as you're talking.
Yeah, I got used to them after a while. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get some magic cream that I used all the way across, and it was godsend.
Yeah. I could imagine. But look, I'm sure you would have been asking this question a lot of times. But how did you get up that crazy idea to walk from Bunbury to Sydney? Because that is such a crazy achievement.
Yeah. Well, right back from the start. I've suffered depression most of my life, pretty much all my life. In 2000, I attempted a suicide attempt, and fortunate enough to have someone walk past the house at the right time, and years later, I've had friends take their lives through suicide. So, yeah, I just felt compelled to just raise awareness, that it's okay not to feel okay at times, and it's just a normal human emotion. We've been given these emotions for a reason, and I look at it as a release valve, and that's what it's for, and we don't like using it though for some reason, we don't like talking about it. We don't like talking about our problems, we look weak. We think we're weak if we do, but we're not. It's just a natural human feeling to feel down at times and have trouble getting through some stuff. So talking helps. Just getting rid of your problems. Really, it's just we need to start talking a lot more about it.
Yeah.
We need friends that can help us out. Listen to us.
Yeah, and I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of people over the last couple of months will probably have had some really anxious moments, with everything that's been happening around the world, and I'm sure still do. But look, it's such a massive thing to sort of decide to walk from Bunbury to Sydney. And again, like I said, I've been thinking about it all day because I'm sure there's just so many questions that just run through my mind when I think about this journey. I posted a photo about 15 minutes ago where on my Facebook page. I think you saw it as well. Where I put into Google. I put into Google just walking from Bunbury to Sydney, and it's like just walking in one straight line is like 31 days, and that's you walking nonstop. How long did it actually take you from when you started till you finished?
I left on the 23rd of August last year and arrived in Sydney on the 4th of April. So it was a total of 7.5 months. Before I left, I thought I was only going to take four or five, hoping to get back here for the New Year's parties and all that, but unfortunately I was just actually hitting the Eyre Peninsula then, just coming out of Kimber. So yeah, 7.5 months. I had no time limit once I started, which was the best thing. It was just the whole journey was about raising awareness, and the last 200 Ks kind of put a time limit on trying to get back to Western Australia. So it was it took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but in saying that, it was raising the awareness and just letting everyone know.
Well, what sort of preparation did you have sort of beforehand? Like from when you had the initial idea to when you said, okay, look, I'm going to do this. How much preparation went into that?
Well, I thought of the idea 7 years ago.
Wow.
So it was kind of playing around in my mind then. But I didn't know kind of exactly where and how I was going to do it. As for preparation, I think it was like 3.5 weeks before I announced on my page that I was going to do the walk, and then 3.5 weeks later I wake up and off the couch and away we go, because I pretty much sat on the couch for the last 4 years editing live music and filming live music and doing my thing. And so I had no training whatsoever. I didn't go out for a walk or anything like that before I left. It was just straight into it. I treated the training from Bunbury to Norseman, which is like, I don't know, 800, 900 Ks from Bunbury here. And I knew once we got to Norseman how I was feeling. That would tell me if I was capable of us keep going. And plus, Norseman's kind of the cut-off line for like over 1,600 Ks of pretty much nothing. So I was a bit hesitant about crossing that stage unfit. So I wanted to make sure I was 110%. Unfortunately, when I got to Norseman, I had some shin splints, and which were quite painful. So I hung off there for like 3 days, and I was still hanging around. So I just felt like I had ants in the pants, and I just needed to keep going. So off I went, and
And how far long into the trip was this?
Well, good point. Norseman, I think I was there in about 4 to 5 weeks.
Okay.
So it was a good warm up. And once I got to Norseman, I knew I had flat ground pretty much for like 2,500 Ks. So I felt comfortable about that. So it was good. I just headed off into the vastness of Western Australia and South Australia, and ended up on this what we call the Nullarbor, and one of the best experiences of my life. I'm really hanging to get back out there, and I'd love to do the Nullarbor again. I'd love to take other people out there as well that suffer from any mental health, and in the hope that they get the same thing as I got out of it.
So what went through your mind? Obviously, walking out there by yourself. We'll get back to later in regards to the preparation. I got a couple of other questions I've been thinking about, but sort of walking out there by yourself. Some of the photos there, it's just nothingness. It's just a straight line, as you said. You had 2,500 kilometers in front of you. What sort of goes through your mind when you're out there just walking?
Pretty much, I was just staying focused on the journey and what we set out to achieve. Pretty much just making sure, the basics about having enough water and enough food and everything to go out there and do me to each roadhouse. So as long as I stayed that, it was pretty much just trying to keep myself alive, and I crossed it at a good time of the year, and she did look after me and treated me with respect, and I did the same back to her, the Nullarbor, and so I feel like she did look after me. But you kind of become part of that place, and so you just need to make sure you got enough water. Really, that's the main thing.
Yeah, because I can see it.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was about to say, yeah, because you had that. I'm just trying to bring up a photo here of that trolley that you were pushing along the way.
Yep, that's Hope the cart.
Yep.
She pretty much just dragged me across the country. All I had to do was hang on to her, and she pretty much pointed the direction the whole way across. So
I've got a photo up here of it here. So that was you posted a photo here. I think it's on the 14th of August.
Okay.
Where you're standing. So that must obviously be just while it's created or something like that. You're standing here with one of your mates. You've got this. It's looking fresh and sharp. You know your trolley there with your handlebars, and you know is it a big esky or something? You have on it there?
Yeah, I had 2 eskies at the back. I picked the second one up around Junior somewhere, but what I was doing, because I had 3 20-litre containers in the front.
Yep.
I had my esky drinking water in the back, and I come to realise that I was actually cooling myself down with my drinking water when I should have been using my water that was in the esky, in the car. And so I ended up finding a hot siphoning hose on the side of the road, and I just stuck that inside one of the containers in the car, and then just washed myself down with that whenever I needed to, and drank the water. But yeah, just in between times, with the water that was in the cart, I just had to take it out at night and sit it on the ground, and then it would cool down again, so I'd have fresh water again the next day. So, excuse me. Yeah, no, it was. I guesstimated to everyone from pretty much from Bunbury to Ceduna that the car only weighed 120 kgs, but when I left Ceduna, I seen a weighbridge there, and I thought, just out of interest, I'll go and weigh her up. And yeah, well, she was 0.2 of a tonne, so 200 kgs. I know, which was probably the worst thing to do, because after that she got a bit heavy every morning, you know, because I knew the exact weight of it. And, but no, she's really well balanced, and had a good mate here in Bunbury, Aaron from Mullet Media, that him and his dad helped me sort the cart out, and couldn't have got a better vehicle to take with me. It was the perfect vehicle. Perfect size, perfect weight, and it was that well balanced. You could push it along with your fingers pretty much. And yeah, so pretty much just hang on to it.
Yeah, but so you mentioned earlier that your total preparation was about, what was it, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
So obviously, if you had to have that trolley made, he must have been pretty quick to get that sorted.
Yeah, I was a bit. It gave me a couple of sleepless nights, and when it actually got, because I rang Aaron up and I says, so I bring the car around and I can put it in the back of the car, and he goes, no, you need a trailer. And I thought, oh no. And when you drove past the house with it in the trailer, it looked like a ride-on lawnmower, you know, and I thought, oh my God, it's too big, you know. But once I lifted it off the trailer itself, I knew it was going to be the car to take across. Yeah,
it looks awesome.
Yeah, no, she's got a bit of a following, Hope. That's her name. Everyone called her Hope, which is the perfect name for her. And yeah, so I was very pleased with the car.
So what else did you keep in it? Because I'm sure water would have been one of the biggest things to keep in it, and food, as you said. Is there anything else? Because obviously it's a fairly big esky, or a fairly big compartment.
Yeah, well, I had the containers of water in the front, and then had my clothes, which consisted of just a couple of pairs of shorts and about 62 band T-shirts from my favourite bands here in WA.
Awesome.
Which was a bit of a mistake to take, but never mind. Added quite a lot of bit of weight. It's amazing how much 62 band shirts weigh. But my cooking equipment, just tools and stuff like that. But like you can only pack it one way, and everything fitted in perfectly, and I left nothing behind that I needed. It was perfect size. Just one of those tins from Bunnings I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah. yeah, bolted it on and away we went.
That's awesome, man. Now, and what about sleep? Because again, I understand, like once you head out there, like you mentioned, you had to sort of reach a couple of roadhouses and stuff. But when you look at some of the photos, like it looks so isolated out there. Did you ever have to sort of sleep out in the wild every now and
then? Pretty much all the time. Apart from when I come into towns, I'd hit the footy fields up, or the free camping spots, or caravan parks. There's a few times where I was offered accommodation, which I was very grateful. So if anyone's watching that offered me accommodation across the country, thank you so much. But pretty much every day I had to find somewhere to sleep, and that I felt safe and comfortable, and pretty much on the side of the road. Out on the Nullarbor, it was pretty much anywhere I wanted. And on the south side, there's nothing out there, so try putting a tent up in gales that are blowing, 80 k's. So, it was just pretty much anywhere I could find shelter. I used the car as a bit of a windbreak at times when I couldn't find trees or anything like that, and just put the tent beside that, and tarpaulin over both of them, and I was right pretty much.
And did you have anyone sort of following you along as a backup, or anyone to sort of walk with you every now and then?
No. I knew this was going to be a personal journey for myself, and I had heaps of offers of people wanting to walk with me and such like, but without being rude, I turned them down, and there was enough trouble looking after myself out there, without having to worry about someone else hurting themselves or wanting to finish, and I didn't want that thought in my head. I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted to stay focused and get to Sydney and keep going.
And about that focus, that's probably one of the key things that I'm curious to hear more about, because I could imagine, just for most people, including myself, just thinking about sort of taking on a journey like this would be like, it's completely unimaginable, because again, like it's such a long stretch to walk, and for you to sort of stay. I know this is ironic, but sort of stay on track, like just to keep on straight. But for you to just keep going, it must take such a crazy mindset, or such a devoted focus.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend today, and I said I'd like to say it was easy, because now I sit at home and I think back, and I can't really think of a hard moment out of the whole journey. Yes, it was physical at times. Excuse me. But I was walking. I've been doing it for 50 years. So it was quite easy. I'd like to say it was easy, but I feel it was.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through some of the photos now. I'm bringing them up on the feed, so people watching can sort of have a look here. And there's a couple here of your tent sites and you on the side of the road and stuff. It's like at some points, like did you ever think about quitting from time to time?
No, not at all. If I could show you this is what made it so easy. I've got it sitting with me, and it only got brought out today, but this is what made it so easy. Unfortunately, hey, can you see that all right?
Yep. It's the flag.
It's the flag, and whenever I had trouble, I just fell back on that and rewired myself to think this is why I'm doing it for. And I've done it for all these guys and girls. I've done it for myself and everyone else that suffers Yeah,
Wow.
it was easy. It was easy. So I had that with me all the time. So
I got goosebumps, man. It's wow. That is so inspiring, man.
thank you. Yeah. It was,
Yeah. Like what did people say? Because you have so many photos again of from you walking around. You got so many photos of people that you meet along the way. You got all these trucks. You had them on the intro video as well, but they are sort of just plowing by as you walk past. And they're like, what did people say when you sort of told them what you were doing, and they saw you sort of walking along the the 2,500 kilometer stretch?
I got a lot of people stopping, and like they'd see me heading along the road, and they'd stop and they'd want to know why. And as soon as we got talking, and it felt like people that needed to stop were stopping and wanted to know why. And then they found out the story about I'm walking across the prevention of suicide, and you could see it in their face, and I'd just look at them and say, do you need to sign the flag? And they'd give me a nod, and so yeah. But I got a huge amount of support, and just people curious, like what are you walking it for? And why didn't you ride a bike? And well, the reason I didn't ride a bike is because I got no butt, and I wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. I've always been a walker. I've always loved nature and always loved walking out in the bush, so what a perfect combination, to do something I love doing and raising awareness for suicide prevention, mix them together. And I wanted it, like you asked before about, what made you do it, it was Sydney to Bunbury, Bunbury to Sydney, it was because it's extreme. So, it's an extreme thing to do, so I think I went high instead of a bit low at first, but no, it was good.
But when you're saying about people signing the flag, what like did they have a deeper meaning? Because you said you asked them and said, do you need to sign the flag?
Yeah, I took the flag with me. And what I was doing is I was asking families and mates who had lost loved ones through suicide,
right,
sign their name on the flag, and they come with me. Every time I got a signature, it just kind of gave me more power and more enthusiasm and more inspiration and more motivation to keep going. I heard of suicides every day of the week for 7.5 months, and so I had to kind of separate that side of it with the walk itself, and then kind of when I'd go into towns, I'd kind of click back into the prevention side of it and awareness, and because I was writing up events in the town's Facebook pages like a couple of days out before I'd hit the town, and then when I'd actually get into the town, I'd sit up the main street or something and ask people to come up and talk about their mental health or talk about their loved one that they lost and sign their name. So
wow,
it was very draining. Some days it was very emotional, and I had to deal with that in ways and best ways I could.
So in many ways, you were like you were there for sort of like for your own journey, but you were also there really to support others.
Yes.
Massively. Yeah. How was that to sort of take that on?
Well, at the start of the journey, it was tough. It was really, really tough. 2 weeks into it, just, I don't know, 200-300 Ks out of Bunbury, I woke up one day and everything was normal, and I packed up like normal and then went away, and I was walking down the highway as we did, and I just started crying. The enormity of what I was actually doing hit me, and it was a thing that started every morning of the day, I'd be crying along the road for about half an hour, and just uncontrollably. And then once I finished, I'd be right. I could get on with it and get to my destination without, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah,
it's like therapy almost. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So in the end, it was just getting a bit too much. Cars were going by, and I was bubbling on the side of the road. I'd kind of like hide my face and but after then, I just I'd clap my hands and snap myself out of it, and I'd be fine. So yeah, it was a very, very emotional journey, and yeah, it's something I'll never forget. So much stuff happened, and yeah.
So what do you recall as being some of the most powerful memories while you were traveling?
Wow.
I suppose there's so many, because again, going through the photos, there's
powerful moment on the Nullarbor. I ended up meeting a truck driver who was out of his truck, walking his dog along this side road, and I was actually heading to the side road to have a break. He was about a K up the road, but we met up halfway along this road, and he seen what was written on the cart, and he walked up, and as soon as he started getting a bit close, I could see it in his face, and he was a broken man, and we sat down and had a walk, had a talk about an hour and a half, and he got in his truck and went away. And 2 days later, I seen him, he passed me, and the look on his face, he had this huge smile, and he was a bigger man, and that was probably the first time on the journey that I actually felt it for myself, what the journey was doing, and I could see it for myself. And I knew, well, he told me that day that he's been thinking about taking his life. In the last 2 days, and we just happened to meet out on the Nullarbor, just connect like that, and yeah, it was a very powerful moment. To see him the following couple of days later, and see the change in him, so I knew then we'd kind of reeled him in a bit, but I ended up meeting him 2,500 k's later up the road in Victoria, and just timing. Yeah, so it was really, really good to see him. Up the road. I've been thinking about him a week before that, and he'd been on my mind, and I was wondering how he was and how he was coping, and to meet him actually that far away, and it was just fantastic. Another time, wow. I was just coming off the Nullarbor, and had this woman ride her bike towards me and calling my name, and I first thought that someone that I knew had gone out of the way and jumped on a bike and come looking for me, and I was kind of like happy to see someone, but I was kind of angry that they'd taken such a step to just come and see me. But as she got closer, I realised that it wasn't anyone I knew, and she goes, Dean, I've heard about you 1,000 k's away, and she was riding to Southern Cross. So she was about to cross the Nullarbor, and it was important for her to overlap our journeys together, and she came up to me and told me that she'd her story, that she'd attempted suicide, and here we are, two complete strangers, bawling our eyes out in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere. It was very powerful. And then she jumps on a bike and away she goes, and silence again. It was just I'm standing there just feeling a little bit empty, but a little bit good that happened. But it was a very, very powerful moment. And then again, 3,000 k's later, I go through Castlemaine, and here she is standing behind me. And yeah, it was such a powerful moment. There's too many to tell you, and you probably all have to wait for the book if there's a book ever to come out of this. But yeah, too much happened. A lot of things happened, and a lot of good things. It was all good. It was all good. Yeah. So
that again. Like I've got goosebumps, man. It sounds like in many ways like you would have saved some people's lives by what you've done. Most likely.
I know 5 people that have come to me and said that they're still with us today because we walked across the country, and you can't beat a better feeling than that. And I get emotional just thinking about it now. And
of course,
I think I succeeded in what I set out to do before I even left Bunbury. And but I had to do the walk. So it was important for me.
So in many ways, it was like obviously, you were doing it for you, but in the same way, it grows or grew to become such a bigger thing.
Well, I didn't even. I set out just to walk along the highway, and all I expected would happen with people drive past in their cars and see what's written on the car, and then they'd look at their partner in the car or whoever was in the car with them and ask them, about their mental health. And that's all I was expecting to happen. I didn't realise that there's going to be all this hoo-ha about it, and how it became. In the end, it started to become quite big, and which is a good thing, and that's what it's about. And yeah. Wow.
It's such a crazy thing to think about. I'm so in awe over the fact that not only that you've obviously walked from Bunbury to Sydney, but the whole sort of reason behind it. Again, like I wasn't aware either that you mentioned that you've been dealing with depression yourself and stuff, which I suppose just makes everything even more deep, like the whole connection to the course. How did it feel? I suppose this is probably a little bit of a rhetoric question, but how did it feel when you sort of walked into Sydney, when you got there eventually?
From day one, as soon as I left my gate, I had this feeling of what it was going to be like to actually reach Sydney. Because I documented the whole thing across, I was going to go off social media for the last 100 Ks and give that to myself and let it sink in. And to tell the truth, I thought I'd be bawling my eyes out 300 Ks into Sydney, and because I could feel the emotion of what it was going to be like. But in the end, it wasn't anything like that. It was just a mad rush to get in there. Get to the airport and get on the next flight home. Unfortunately, the virus robbed me, and like everyone else, it has robbed, and it's robbed people of their jobs, and it's robbed. There's poor people in Melbourne, Victoria at the moment going through what they're going through. So I knew I wasn't the only one that it had dealt the ugly card to. So yeah, it was just pretty much full on getting to the airport. And putting the walk aside, sort of, and just reaching the destination. Yeah.
But when did COVID break out? Like, where were you when all the restrictions sort of started to kick in?
Yeah, I think I was about halfway across Victoria at the time, and when I first started hearing about it. And like I remember even saying, they can't shut the state borders. That's just stupidity. No way is that. But then when I reached New South Wales, if I'd been a couple of weeks later, I probably would have been stuck in Victoria. So I was quite lucky to get into New South Wales, and then that's when it all started going haywire and the borders closing and that. So, excuse me. So, yeah, it was once the border started closing, I was getting a bit worried. Yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously getting into Sydney, you said you pretty much just jumped straight on an airplane. And this was it March? You said you finished?
No, April.
April.
Yeah, come to April. 4th of April, I arrived in Sydney.
And how long were you there for? Was it pretty much just on and off?
No, I got about 10k out of Campbelltown, and then realised that there's going to be no Bondi Beach finish.
So of course, yeah.
And I didn't know what I was going to do with the car. So I just pretty much headed straight to the airport. And excuse me, had some guy called me up and asked if I wanted picked up on the highway. And so I pretty much put a finish to that, to the walk there right then and then. So I was about 30k out from the airport.
Right. And how was it? How was it then? Sort of getting back to Perth after such or back to Bunbury.
Yeah, it was surreal. I had to do the standard 14-day isolation, and which I knew, which I was going to do a month anyway. I was, didn't worry about doing any isolation. I wanted the break. I was going to sleep for a month. Coming back here, it was just it wasn't the same. The venues had closed down and no live music, and it was quite sad.
But I was about to say, I'm also thinking about obviously the fact, if you've been out on the road and just walking for like 8 months, most of the time you slept in a Bunnings tent on the side of the road, and have had the occasional bed from time to time, from people or roadhouses, if people are offering something. And now all of a sudden you're sort of back, to civilization. You're sleeping in your own bed, you have a shower, you can cook a meal when you want to. 8 months is a long time. That's 2/3 of a year. And then all of a sudden it's not back to normal, but at least you're at home. You know what I mean? You have the lockdown and all that, but sort of getting out of that habit of no longer having to walk.
The thing that I was looking forward to when I come back was waking up the next day and opening my eyes in my own bed and having that realization that we've done it. And I'm home and I'm safe. And we actually walked across the country. Now it doesn't feel like that we've done it. It feels like a dream. And I have the footage and the pictures to look back on, and looking back on them, I look at them now, and especially the clips on the novel, I just think, what were you thinking, putting yourself out there, But I only had one thing on my mind, and that was to raise awareness and to stay focused and keep going. And that was the easy part of it.
Yeah. Wow. I've got a friend of mine who is, I had him on the show last week. He's doing something similar. He's not doing it for any specific cause, as such. He's walking from Denmark down to, southern Spain, which is almost the same. I think he mentioned it was like 3,500 kilometers or something. But so he's doing it. So for him, it's more like a soul searching thing. Like he just needed to just get to find himself. And he, when I had him on the show, it was really emotional for him as well. And he said, look, it was for him, he had thought about quitting. He didn't know if he were going to finish, but had more and more sort of like every day, it was like you get that 1% more sort of focused on finishing. And I told him that I was gonna have you on the show, and you had done this like the Australian version. Is there anything you could potentially, because I'm pretty sure he's watching at the moment as well. Is there anything is there anything? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, sort of given the whole time differences, I think he would have finished his walk today. Is there anything that you could sort of give him as a little pep talk, a little tips and tricks or something to keep going? Because obviously you had your very, very strong reasons for doing what you did. Yeah. But if there was anything to just, keep playing through, he's, let me also tell you, he's about probably 20%, 25% into it.
Oh, he's only just started then.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, he's walked about 1,000 kilometers or something.
Yeah, no, that's just a warm up. No.
Yeah.
No, just please stay focused and, just enjoy it. He'll know himself. He'll see the countryside changing colours every day of the week. Like a big thing for me was like I pretty much never had Sydney on my mind until I had seen the very first 700k road marker to Sydney. I'd done it 5k at a time to the next 5k road marker. When I got to that, I went to the next one, So it was pretty much 5Ks at a time the whole way across. There was a lot of 5K road markers. But just stay focused and enjoy it. Enjoy being out there. It's an amazing thing to do, especially without no purpose. Just to go and do it. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I suppose again, like I think that I picked up from talking to him was the fact is, again, like in many ways I'm a bit jealous, because you get to fully disconnect from this complete hectic lifestyle that we have here. You're constantly connected to social media, to all this like stress in many ways. Like I said, I'd be lying to say if I haven't had, a couple of dark days, in the last 12 months as well. And like for us to just constantly have all these expectations from society, from our surroundings and stuff. And for you to just be out there, this is again was me talking to him, last week, saying for you to just be out there in nature, surrounded by nothing but the real world, rather than having everything sort of, being embedded into your smartphone in your pocket, where you're constantly, reminded about everything you don't need to worry about when you're out there walking. That to me is something that I am, and watching all your videos, all your photos, which I've been going through all day, just watching that is like, wow, I wish I could do that.
You can. You can do that. You can do that.
But 6 months, 6 months is a lot of time for most people to sort of take out of their, let alone taking time off work or whatever you have to do to generate an income. But man, it's something that I'm truly jealous of. Like, I'd love to do that.
Thank you. It's humbling hearing that. I was fortunate enough that I never had a job when I started. Well, I did part-time, but doing my editing and music stuff at night, so I had plenty of time on my hands, and everything. Once I decided I was going to do it, everything started falling into place, and I'd think of something that needed done, and it would get done without me having to do anything, and it was just like a jigsaw. Everything just started locking up, and away we go. So I felt comfortable with it straight away. I had no doubt that we would get to the destination, from the start. I couldn't have any negativity or anything like that around me, and just had to stay positive and just think why I was doing it, and everything just connected up, and which made it seem easy. Definitely looked after the whole way.
And so, and so when you're out there in the on the in the nothingness, did it ever sort of cross your mind, like if you ran out of if they ran out of phone reception or anything, and something happened? I noticed there was a couple of photos of Hope having like a warped tire and stuff, and a flat tire a couple of times as well. Did any of that ever sort of cross your mind?
No, because I had to be like a couple of days ahead of myself all the time and make sure I had enough equipment, food, water with me all the time. I could not stuff that up at all. You're putting yourself out there in one of the harshest places on earth, really, and she can turn on you in an instant, and you got to be prepared. Even though I'd never crossed the place or even seen what it looked like, I knew I had to respect it and take enough provisions out there to survive. I knew people die out there, and it didn't scare me, but because I knew I had enough provisions with me and enough focus to keep going. You said about reception. What I used was an app called Wikicamps, and Lee from the Bunbury Carrion Park put me onto it, which was a real game changer across the Nullarbor, because it told me where I could find camp spots and where shelter was, and but the good thing about it also told me where I could pick reception up, because I didn't take any EPIRB or satellite phone with me or anything. I just relied on my cell phone, and if I'd broken it or lost it, I would have been absolutely, I don't know if I can say that word on here, but it was a big game changer. So what I was actually doing was working on, I know there's reception 40 k's ahead of me, so let's head there. And then I'd camp there that night, and then I'd get on the app again and look for where's the next reception, because it went in and out the whole way across. So it also told me where the emergency phones are as well. So if there wasn't reception, I'd make my way to an emergency phone, just in case anything happened to it, and I needed to get in touch with someone. Excuse me, there's, so it's pretty much reception to reception all the way across the Nullarbor and between roadhouses. Yeah, so it was a very, very handy thing to have. So if anyone needs a good app for that sort of thing, Wikicamps.
Wikicamps. I'll write that one down. Yeah,
come very, very handy. I really don't know how the journey across the Nullarbor would have went without it. It kind of gave me some comfort as well, knowing that's ahead and knowing what's ahead of me, and also so. But without it, it might have been a different story. Yeah.
Well, that's I suppose that again is a pretty handy app to have. But if you're still sort of in between like campsites, because how many k's were you walking per day? Roughly.
It varied, but my average was 40 k's a day.
40 k's, wow.
40 k's a day. That's what I worked on. That's what I wanted to do. I was comfortable with doing that. But we're doing in between. We're doing across the Nullarbor. It's just from light to dark. So I don't really know how many I was doing across there at times. Biggest walk across there was 75 k's in one day. I thought when I left here I'd be able to do 75 k's every day, but no, that's impossible. That took like 19 and a half hours.
I was just about to ask, how long did that take?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It was pretty rough at the end. That was so I could reach the Nullarbor Roadhouse and wish my son in New Zealand a happy birthday on his birthday. I actually rang him 2 days, it was about 3 days before that, at the Border Village Roadhouse, wishing him a happy birthday on that day. And saying, well, I'm going to be out of reception for about a week, so I'm going to wish you a happy birthday today. But while I was out on the road, I was thinking that's just like wishing him happy birthday 2 days after his birthday. So I got into my head that I could walk 75 k's one day, and then away I went and succeeded. So, but I'll never do it again. And that will always, that is my birthday present to him, and I told him that will always be the biggest walk of the walk.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
So, it was a rough day. It was a rough day, but yeah, we got there.
So how did you feel? Like, how do you feel the next day after waking up, after walking 19 hours?
I was shattered. I was totally. I was very tired of hallucinations and all that sort of stuff. While I was walking, I couldn't calculate the distances and times it was taking me. And that was telling me that, I'm a bit exhausted. But I couldn't stop. Once you're actually walking on the road, you can't stop. You can't see where you can camp or anything like that. So you're pretty much committed to it. I tried a couple of night walks, but it's just too dangerous. And it gives you a different sense. All you see is the sky and the road, and it's kind of a bit eerie, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't. It's a whole new walk, and the first time that happened, I was about 10k out of Dno in Western Australia, and I thought I'd be able to get to Dno before it got dark, but I was out. It was pitch black, 10k out, and the wind was howling. All I could see was the road, and it just freaked me right out. I like seeing who's in cars as they go past, and there was a couple of cars that kind of slowed down and slowly cruised past me, and it kind of I just got a bad vibe and didn't like it at all. Kind of had a little meltdown, but once I got to Dno and got to the camp spot and had a shower and something to eat, I was all ready to go the next day. Yeah.
I kind of get the whole image in my head from the what's it called, that Australian movie with that the guy. That's the one.
Funny to say that he did pass me a couple of times. I'm pretty sure I seen him a couple of times out there. Well, not out there, but familiar type and thing. Is that Mick? But I had no fear and anything bad happening. I don't know why. I don't know if it was even silly, but I had all these people behind me. So
that like the whole meaning behind that flag now is just so much more powerful.
It is. I look at it now and it's very powerful. It's very powerful.
Very unique. So when you're out there, I just wrote down here when you were talking about earlier, when you were out there sort of walking and the wind was howling and all that, you started in August, which is sort of, like one of the coldest, it's like sort of the peak of winter almost. And sort of finishing, so you would have been walking all through the peak of summer somewhere in the middle of the desert. What was that like? That would have been horrible.
Well, I didn't really get the heat. I was getting bad heat between Norseman and Belladonna, and they were like 38-degree days, and still pretty hot, and probably still too hot to be walking. But I used to get up at say 4 a.m., walk till about 10 o'clock, get into the bush, have something to eat, shelter, and then away again around 3:30 in the afternoon when the heat's starting to kind of die off a bit. Nullarbor was really good. Hot days, but bearable. Winds were a bit rough in the South Australian side of it. But it wasn't until I got to Eyre Peninsula that the heat kicked in, and we were getting 50-degree days. So I was held up in a town called Widner for a week, and then I seen a 2-day gap of 32-degree days, and then it was going to get up to like 50 again. So I knew Kimber was like 90 k's away, so I took the 2 30-degree days to get to Kimber, and then it came up to 50s again. So I had to stay in Kimber for another week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just too dangerous. You can't walk in there. It's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating because, like, I'm just wanting to go, but it's just silly because you can't go because it's a really, really hot, nice day. But you gotta think sensible and listen to your body and your gut instinct.
What about your shoes? Like how did you go with the shoes? That would have been a very important thing, I guess.
Yeah, we really good with my shoes. Had a mate here in Bunbury that helped me out with my first 2 pair, Adam. And then just went to the same shop and gave them a bit of a spill, and got them for half price. And I had my last pair donated to me in, where was that? Albury. Might have been Albury. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I went through 4 pairs of shoes. So a few blisters at the start, but that was probably...
Yeah, I was about that was going to be my next question, sort of to see how you went with the blisters, because that's, again, if you're pretty much walking a marathon every day, you would need some pretty decent shoes and socks.
Yeah, I had some good shoes for start, but I should have worn them in a bit before I left. But I had new shoes on, and away I went. And by the time I got to Kojonup, I had holes the size of the Kalgoorlie Super Pit in the heel, which was very painful. But I gave myself a week to just rest and pad them up, and away I went again. So I'm pretty lucky. Ian and Sharon at the Kojonup Caravan Park kind of looked after me there, and wouldn't let me go until my heels had at least become walkable. And very painful blisters. Yeah, but the shin splints were the worst. It was pain, but the main thing was to listen to my body. My body's saying, you're tired, stop. So if I'd end up like injured, well, I can't finish. And I would have been devastated if I had to stop because I'd injured myself.
So when you had the shin splints, how did you treat that? Because obviously, if you still had to sort of keep going, did you walk slower, or did you wrap it all up?
I was lucky enough to meet 2 beautiful people, Rita and Guido from Switzerland. They were biking around the country at the time. I met them in Norseman, and they said, just tape it up, Dno. So the only tape that I had at the time was insulation tape, and I pretty much just wrapped it around my leg, thinking that was the right way to tape it, and off I went. And it was about 2 days later they caught up with me and pretty much told me off. They took one look at my insulation tape around my leg and said, no, that's wrong. So they actually happened to have some tape on them, and they taped it up properly, and taped it up how you should do shin splints. And come right after that, and I just kept the tape on until I was halfway across the place, and just kind of walked it off, I think, in the end. But when I was walking into Sydney, I'd done a 63k day and a 55k day after that one, and yeah, it was just the hills and the cold weather and the rain, and I got them in my right leg at the time, and so I was walking into Sydney with shin splints, which was, yeah, it was really painful, awkward, and just had all that on top of the COVID stuff. So and stress of not knowing if I was going to get home. Last thing I wanted to do was finish it and get stuck in New South Wales. You know, I wanted to come home. You know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So
I completely forgot to think about rain. Of course you could have rain because you arrived there and sort of like you would come into autumn. Did you actually have a rain jacket?
Yeah, I had all that kind of stuff, and I didn't really get rained on as much. I can probably out of the whole journey, I probably got a week of rain where I was walking in the rain, and most of it was when I was in the last few days. One good downpour on the Nullarbor. Yeah, pretty much near the end, you know, coming into New South Wales, it started raining. Yeah. So, yeah, the rain wasn't too much of a factor, and I was very lucky to miss it. And I never really walked, and you know, I kind of stopped if it got too bad.
Yeah.
There was one instance when I was hitting Horsham, had a supercell right in front of me, coming towards me, lightning all around, and a really big downpour, but it just skimmed me, and I got a bit wet, but you got to expect that. Yeah.
And what about the weather in general? How was that?
Weather in general, really good. A bit windy across the Nullarbor. Western Australia was fine. South Australia pretty much fine. I took a couple of detours once I hit Bordertown, went down south and seen a family that I'd met in Western Australia, and again across the Nullarbor we connected up again. And so when I hit Bordertown, which was the end of the second leg of the journey, the family in question we're talking about lived in Ararat, which was 400k away from Bordertown. So I thought, well, let's go down and see them, you know. And so I added 400k on just to go and see them. So,
well, what's another 400k?
Well, exactly. So there was a few little details like that. So and then I had to kind of work my way back up through Bendigo and through Avoca, and to kind of get up to this line that I was actually originally on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It really is crazy, man. And I suppose again, another thing I'm a little bit curious to hear about. You mentioned you had a lot of band shirts from bands from WA. We got this really amazing gig coming up on Sunday, sort of in your honor.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, I don't actually know, but Kim Redmond from the band of Misfits contacted me a while ago and offered, and I'm truly humbled about the whole thing, really. It's just it's unbelievable that guys are doing this for me in the walk, and I'm just blown away. At what I think is one of the best venues in Perth, my favourite venue, Badlands Bar, and the bands, all the bands that have put the time in to come and do this as well, you know, and some great bands there. I can't wait. I seriously can't wait for it. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I was about to say, if you're humbled, then I don't know what the other guys would be when they sort of, you know, when they hear your story and sort of see what you've done. I had Kim on the show a couple of months ago, and again I had Mel from Ashes of Autumn, which is one of the other band as well. I think like they both have had, you know, suicide close to them. So for them it's going to be a very special night, I'm sure. So look, for them or for anyone to do anything for you after what you've done, it's like, again, for me, again, I feel incredibly humble hearing your story as well. And I'm so grateful for you to take the time out to come here and talk about it as well. But yeah, I bought a ticket for the show pretty much as soon as it was. So I'll see you there on Sunday.
Fantastic.
And again, I'm super excited to actually meet and obviously hear the bands on Sunday as well, and be a part of that whole event. So, but again, for you to be humble is, again, I understand that the whole mindset behind it, but it's like it's such an important thing. It's something that I think touches so many people, you know, mental health in general, and hopefully it doesn't end up with suicide, because again, it's something that I remember I had a guest on, actually. I should probably start by saying that I had a guest on from the UK who very openly spoke on the show again about you know, he had the same thoughts. I think it was about 7-8 years prior to our chat, and he said it was a very it's kind of stuck with me. He said it was a very long-term solution to a short-term problem. And that sentence has really stuck with me, because again, as you mentioned earlier, it's something that you can go through. That is, you know, we can all have our dark moments in time, but once you choose that option, that's definite. And it's, yeah, look, it's, I'll get a little bit emotional too about now, just talking about it. But, those stories that you shared from the trip is deep. And again, I noticed some of the stories that you, some of the posts you have on your Facebook page too. I can see there's so many people that have openly shared their thoughts about it, and you're so good at going back and commenting on it. How does that sort of make you feel, knowing that you've now almost like you are someone that people actually confide in?
I still have people today coming to me and just having a chat, or just telling me about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
It's humbling. I'm forever grateful. I was getting people, complete strangers, coming up to me in the supermarket and telling me stuff they wouldn't have told their partners of 20 years. They know I suffer myself, and they must find it easier to talk to. You know, it's just a trust that they feel so comfortable in telling me their deepest, darkest secrets, and that's what it's all about. It's all about just talking about it. I was very humbled that people were doing that, and today I still get it, and it reminds me of a time when I was going through a bit of a bad spot, and I put myself in hospital, and I was going around counselling all the other patients, and the doctors look at me and say, "Dean, you're all right, mate. You know, we're going to release you tomorrow." You know, and I'm going, no, I'm dying inside. But you're doing this with all the patients. You know, you're all right, mate. You know, well, it's doing me good. You know. What you see outside's all fake, sort of, you know. But on the inside, I'm rotting away, you know, with my mental health. So you know, these days, now I'm very, that's what I'm here for. You know, if anyone wants to come and have a chat with me and tell me about what's going on with them, please do. You know, I'm only a message away. and I'd accept it. Doesn't matter what time of the day or night, just please do. Please come and say hello. If you've been watching the walk and haven't come and talked to me yet, please come and talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And how? I was about to say, how are you now? After you finish it.
Wow. As I said the other just before earlier on, looking at the footage and seeing it, seeing what I see as a complete stranger doing this walk. I feel I took my cameras out with me because I thought mentally I was going to break down while I crossed the Nile, and I wanted to film that. The idea of the walk was to show people, no matter how tough it's getting, you can get up the next day and keep going. And that's what I tried to portray right across the country. But it backfired on me. I become so much stronger out there. It taught me so much about myself, and I used to be an overthinker. I used to overthink things all the time, and because I was doing that, it was making me ill, and then I'd start believing what I was thinking, because I'd been thinking about it so much, and it was just on my mind all the time. But now I've learned how to dismiss any negativity whatsoever, and that's something I've never ever in my whole life been able to do. I don't live with negativity now, and if I see it, I dismiss it straight away. And anything, no matter what it is, it's gone. Everything seems so positive now, and I feel so much stronger in myself, and I want to keep this walk going and raising awareness, and I want to try to help more and help people make the right choice instead of the wrong choice. And that's, I just feel so positive about it. I'm the same person, but mentally I'm so much stronger. And I think it was the best thing I've done for myself to do this, to take it on for myself. Yeah, but no, so much stronger, so much.
Yeah, it's. I'm honest. I'm sitting here. I've got clammy hands and everything. It's just. I'm really. I'm so honored to and so humble as well.
Making me blush, but. It's just something I had to do. It wasn't only me hearing of my friends passing through suicide. It was hearing my mates passing, and hearing their mates passing. It was just getting too much. And we had a good friend pass about 3 months before the walk, and when he passed, I thought, no, this is it. It's got to be done. Away we went.
So was that the drop, the thought, or the
turning point? Well,
turning point.
It pretty much confirmed. I was kind of going through it. I was going through a bit of bad stuff myself at the time, and kind of felt myself kind of spiraling a little bit, and I haven't spiraled that bad for a long time. And then we lost him, and then I thought, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. Without a question, the way we went, before anyone else. It was just get up and go, pretty much, before I changed my mind.
Yeah.
once I actually posted it, because I posted it on Facebook that I was going, and kind of woke up the next day and thought, you're an idiot, mate, you got to go now. So you told half the planet, so pretty stupid if you don't. But yeah, I'd already made up my mind. The hardest part was like the day I left. I planned to leave at 12 o'clock on the dot. I only had to walk to Boyana, which was like 20 k's away. First walk, and like 11 o'clock come. I was kind of starting to shit bricks in, but so I'll have a coffee and a cigarette, 11:30 come. Oh, one more coffee and a cigarette. 10 to 12. We might fit one more coffee in and one more cigarette. But the first steps, as they say, the first steps were the hardest. Felt a bit kind of silly as I was walking down the street pushing the car. So then I kind of just, someone came over me and I realised why I'm actually walking along with this cart and what we're doing, and I just kind of shoulders went back and walked proud all the way across. I've got a bit of a slouch, half, near the end, but so.
And then, and along the way, you mentioned you were talking to like you had small events at the town, some of the towns you went to as well. Yeah. How was that something you just planned along as you went, or was that something that you sort of knew you were going to do?
To tell the truth, I don't exactly know. It's just the way it worked out, just like everything else. It just became the thing, and I just go and sit up in the main street or wherever everyone kind of went outside the shopping markets and stuff, supermarkets, and I'd just write up events and on my Facebook page and post them in the town's Facebook page. It's probably the only one on Facebook that writes up events hoping that no one shows up. But they did, unfortunately.
I saw on your page as well. You got quite a few posts too, where you got some media, like some TV stations coming in as well. How was that?
A bit frightening, I must say. I got the first one. I got interviewed in Stall, and I seen them go past as I was on the highway, in the car, and it's like that feeling when you see the police go past in the car and they turn around and come up behind you. It was kind of that kind of feeling. They were just doing a story up the road, and so I ended up. I said, I'll be in the next town by the time he's come back. So we jacked it up and done it then. And, although I like being on the other side of the camera, I knew it was all part of the journey, and it was all part about getting the word out there and raising the awareness that we needed. And so I just suck it in and just kind of deal with it, nothing worse than, I don't like the sound of my own voice or anything like that. So a bit paranoid about that, but no, it was all good. They made me feel comfortable, and we done good, I think, with the media. Bendigo went off, and I got pretty much manhandled by the media. It was quite daunting. I had Channel 9 interview me as I'm going along the road, and I look ahead, and about half a k, here's another media outlet filming me as I'm walking along the road, and I'm thinking, oh God, here we go again. And then there was 2 other television interviews after that with a radio interview, and it was pretty full on. I didn't actually like it, but I think it was because I was a bit tired and everyone was wanting a piece of me at the same time, sort of thing. And the flag was getting shared around, which I didn't like at all. And because I always like keeping a close eye on it, and it was a bit tiring, but in saying that, it was part of the deal, and I knew I had to do it. So, but it's slowly starting to get used to it now.
Yeah, well, you're almost like a saint, like you're someone, like you are like truly like a lifesaver. And again, it's such a selfless thing that has, I suppose, just happened because you were on your own journey, and then all of a sudden, it's grown to be something so much bigger. An amazing achievement, amazing outcome.
Thank you. I think it was very successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you, but again, if you can inspire just one person, and you managed to inspire so many Like again, just going through your Facebook page, you can see how many comments you're still getting. Like to this day, I've noticed a comment. I think it was yesterday or something when I went through it. So on that note, actually, what's next? Like, what are you? Have you got anything planned?
Well, I might as well spill the beans, sort of, but it's a bit bad news. I was leading up. No one knows this yet. Well, a couple of close people do, but I was actually, unfortunately, I've just pulled the pin on it 2 days ago. I'd planned to fly back to Sydney at the end of the month and walk back.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been gearing myself up for that. We were going to walk back from Sydney to Bunbury. Reason being, you go somewhere, you always come back. You know, you don't just go halfway then come back. You know, you go all the way and then come back. You know, so I wanted to do the same track back and meet all the people that we'd met on the walk, ramp it up a lot more and get the awareness out there. But on the 23rd of August this year, we were going to walk back from Sydney, but with everything that's happening in Victoria and New South Wales at the moment, it'd just been a logistical nightmare, and I know what it done to me in the last month, and I wouldn't want that fresh off heading back home.
No.
Maybe another time. But we have New Zealand planned on the 23rd of August next year. I wanted to do New Zealand this year after the walk to keep the momentum going. It's important for me to leave on the 23rd of August, which was my father's passing, and that's the reason I left on the 23rd of August this year, just to reconnect with my father and bring him along on the journey with us. And so whenever we're going to do one of these walks, we will always leave on the 23rd of August. So, so we were going to walk back from Sydney, but unfortunately I've had to pull the pin on it with what's going on. So
that makes sense.
We're going to have to wait till August next year for New Zealand, and we're going to do the Walk for Hope from North Island down to the South Island. Nice. Which will be a shorter walk. It will be much shorter. Only should take me 3.5, 4 months. Fingers crossed. So I'm hanging to show all you guys over here my country.
Yep.
I got so much support from New Zealand, all my old schoolmates over there and from Mosgiel, New Zealand, and I have good mates from over home on the flag as well, so I want to take them home and try to do the same as we've done over here.
Could you possibly, I don't know if you could say recruit other people, but is there other people that would be able to be ambassadors and do walks as well as a part of it?
Not being rude, but I'd rather do it again alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had offers already.
I respect that so much, and that's so cool.
Some sponsorship would go down really good, Dave.
Yeah.
If anyone's out there that would want to sponsor. It's just going to be unassisted again, and if I worry about anyone else on the road. I just wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, and I don't think I'd deal with that very well. So I think it's just like, okay, 5K out of town, if you want to come and walk into the town, I could handle that, but actually out on the road itself, no, it's too dangerous, and I'm just concerned about other people getting hurt.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
By the way, if there's anyone watching who's got a couple of questions, then we're probably going to wrap it up in about 10, 15 minutes. So get ready for questions if you want to put them in now. I've got another question here, which is more sort of music related, because you have your YouTube page running where you've got a lot of different band videos on. And I noticed one of your posts on your Facebook. While you were out walking, you surpassed 1 million views, total views.
I did.
Can you tell us a bit? Can you tell us a bit about the whole Dno music?
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I've never been really a pub person. Never really been one to go to the pubs and watch a band. And I went to pubs when I was underage. And then once I become age, it kind of got a bit boring after that, so I kind of stopped. When I moved into Gariella, my flatmate, she used to go to the pub and watch bands quite a lot, and she'd always ask if I wanted to go to a band, and I'd turn her down and say no, I'd rather sit home and watch TV. And then one night I gave in, and she told me that this band called British India were playing at the Prince of Wales here in Bunbury, and I thought, okay, I'll give them just this once. And I went along, and there was this band there called Tired Lion, who was supporting, and I fell in love with them within 10 seconds, and couldn't believe the sound that they were producing. And so I started kind of stalking them a little bit, and then following them around, and go to the gigs, and then I'd meet their support bands, and the Pat Chows, the Love Junkies, the New Talks, and all that. And then it's just snowballed since then, and I just found myself filming these bands off my iPhone, and really enjoying it, and then just thought, well, just get a camera and see if I can kind of give them a bit more better footage. And so I go to a gig, and then with the intention of filming just one song, but I just stay there and just film the whole thing, and I just can't help myself. I'm scared I'm going to miss something, and it's become a passion, and I'm so passionate about supporting the local scene now. And we've got so many talented people here in WA, and
yep.
Pretty much my whole playlist was all WA music, and I just love it. I just love doing it, and I just love the people that it's the music scene that it's a certain band. When I realised that I wasn't the only one that suffered, I'd come across an album from a band called Pat Chow, Perth band, and their album Are You OK, which, funny enough, how ironic's that, and I related to it so much, and couldn't understand it, and talked to Ben, who's the lead singer, and just mentioned it just sounds like me, but he said no, that's some of my experiences, kind of a light bulb went on in my head, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not the only one that suffers like this, and so yeah, after that, it's just become such a passion. Everyone that I've met in the WA scene has just been so loving, and it's such a loving community of talented people. Why wouldn't you want to be part of it? So I've probably become WA's biggest groupie for the last 7 years. But they've shown me respect. We see what's this gig coming up on Sunday at Badlands. It's humbling that people are doing this for me, and they see how passionate I am about supporting live music and local music, and I get this in return. It's just I just can't believe it. It's just I don't know what I'm going to be like on the day, and it's just I'm going to try to keep it together, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple of moments there when I'm going to choke up, especially. Sure. Yeah,
look,
sure.
I've known you for less than 2 hours, and I am, like I said, I'm so humbled. You're such a such a selfless person. Like, to do all this stuff for bands, for for people with depression, suicide awareness. I'm speechless. It's like people. The world need more people like yourself. And there should be, like, I don't even know what to say. It's so refreshing. It's so inspiring to hear you talk about everything that you do completely. Like, you do so much for others. Like for these upcoming bands. And again, I know, having spoken to so many bands here on this show over the last couple of months, it's so obvious to see why so many people in the entertainment industry would suffer, because it's such a hard industry. It's so difficult to make it, and to have someone like yourself who just goes out there, with absolutely no thoughts behind it, except I just want to help you. It's so awe-inspiring. Like I said, I'm speechless. I can't find the right words for it, because it's so unique. It's so nice. And I can't wait to see you and to meet you in person and shake your hand and tell you how incredible of a person you are.
I find that amazing. Thank you. All I've done was walk, and it's all I keep saying. And I can see the good. I can see
you've done so much more than that. Yeah.
I can see the good that the walk done, and what our journey done, and but I just walked. Yeah. No, I don't know.
It's It's absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I don't have the right words for it, because it is so much more than just the walk. The walk started it, or maybe it started a lot sooner than that. But the walk sort of cemented it and made it real. Made it something that was made it something that people could follow and could objectify and be a part of. And also actually became an avenue for people to reach out to you if they needed help. Mm-hmm. Like you said, with the truck driver and the other person you met. It's absolutely incredible story.
I don't think, without being involved with the music scene over here, I don't think there would have been any Walk for Hope. Because I just what the music scene has done for me in my mental health, I've leveled. I'm on a straight level now since I've been involved. It's done me really, really good, and this is just kind of my thank you and for making me feel good. And what goes around comes around. So there was nothing to do really. It's just needed to be done, so we done.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, let's try and see if there is anyone who's got. There's a lot of comments here. See if there's a couple of questions here. So, we've got some questions here from not questions. I can just read out a couple of comments here, because I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people here that you would know. But we've got Steve Van Roy Greenham, who's saying that.
Steve, he's good.
He said, I met this champ Dno while he was in South Australia. He's a good, humble bloke and was happy to help as much as I could. Keep it up, the Hope team.
Yeah. Good on you, Steve. You helped me out really good, mate. Thanks, buddy. You never forget your mate.
That's fantastic. Then we got Jude Sellis, who said that setting up camp each night, then packing the next morning must have been tough. That's her comment. But actually, just on that note, How was like every night when you had to sort of set up, like it must have been sort of like a fairly repetitive thing to do when you're on there.
Yeah,
You must have perfected it over time.
Yeah, it was pretty much autopilot, because like you walk 40k or whatever k's you walked, and then you knew you had to set up tent before you could actually relax, and so it was pretty much find the spot, set up tent and everything before you even started relaxing, you know. So it was pretty much a chore of the day, and then again in the mornings pack up and then get away. You know, like every morning I'd say, yeah, get up at 5 a.m. and you'd be away at 6, you know. But like I'd get up, and by the time I packed up, it'd be like 8 o'clock, you know. So I was never on time. Yeah, getting up and packing up was starting to get a bit. I was a bit over it. So,
I could imagine. I could imagine.
When I got offered a shower and bed and accommodation, whatever, you know, I'd never turn it down. Mate. Never turn it down, a bed or a hot feed or a hot shower.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It'd be a bit difficult out in the bush, so you kind of have to just rely on the tent, I suppose.
Yeah, it's, I kind of, the only time I felt lonely out of the whole journey is when I was around people. Funny enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I kind of done all right when I was by myself, but, you know, like, you know, you come into the towns and see couples walking along the road holding hands, and people just doing the normal thing, but just being with it, you know, the friends and that. And I'd be this homeless person that was telling the world that, it was funny, you know. I just kind of, that's when I'd get the heartstrings pulled out, you know, and I kind of felt alone. But once I'd get back out on the road and back into nothing, you know, I kind of came right, you know, and I was comfortable with that. Trying times in towns, and just stay focused and
then we've got my mom. She's a very loyal fan. She's coming back from Denmark, Europe, saying yes, she's very impressed about your journey as well. Then we've got Adam Onion Man Kane.
Man. He's a good mate. He helped me out with my shoes.
Oh, good. Just says 1 foot in front of the other, and then a heart.
Yeah, it was actually Adam's wife that made the flag. When I had no idea about the flag, I knew she was the person to do it, and she was a bit hesitant. She was a bit scared about making it, but I just told her, you know, what you make will be perfect. It'll be the flag of hope, and she smashed it. So thanks, Onion Man, and thanks for watching. And
Onion Man, that's great. Then we got Elisa Crummy. I think it is Crummy.
Lisa.
Says, right. Amazing, beautiful man. Have I told you lately?
Yeah, I think you might have.
And then we've got Steve again, who says, I saw my brother's names again. That was probably while I was scrolling. Nice. Thanks, Dno and Team Hope. Then we have our mutual friend Kim Redmond, who says, absolutely bloody champion. Benjamin Johnstone, who is one of my mates. I don't know if you know him as well. He's a big Perth muso as well. He says powerful stuff, and then a fist.
Nice.
And obviously we've got my mate from Denmark, as I said, who is currently walking in Europe. So he says much love for you, and the beauty of what walking does can make a big difference. So
thank you.
I'm sure you would have inspired him to keep going as well. I've got him. I've told him once he makes it to Paris, which should take him about another 6 weeks. I said I'll get him back for another chat and get an update on the show.
Is he filming his journey?
He is, yeah. So he's doing like daily updates and putting that on YouTube as well.
But please connect us if there's.
Absolutely. I can send you his details after. Then we have Nikki Davies, who's saying,
Nikki, she come and met me at the airport. She was my welcoming committee. She's actually she's actually the Walk for Hope #1 fan.
Oh,
Nikki.
Fantastic.
So, hello, Nikki.
She said, I love to hear more of your stories, Dno. You're such an inspiration. But yeah, big fan. That's fantastic. We got lol Adam. Who's Adam? Lol. It's Onion Man. Okay.
Could be
Then we got Kelly Marie.
Right.
Who says, wow, hey, inspirational, Dno. Thanks for smiling for you.
Thank you.
And then you got Steve again, who's asking if New Zealand is still on the cards, but you already answered that.
Yeah, New Zealand's still on the cards as far as we know.
Yep, that's fantastic. I'm very excited to hear more about that. Then we got Kim again, who just says you're the best ambassador we have, Dno.
Oh, that's nice.
We got Bailey Farley.
Bailey's a little.
You just got a I love you, mate, from Bailey.
Nice, mate. Thanks, Bailey.
And Jude Sellers are asking you, did you go through any bushfires? That's a good question, because that would have been bushfire season.
Jude should have yelled that out because she's actually in the next room. She's my flatmate, so.
Oh, right.
I don't know why I didn't yell it out, but bushfires, yeah. I was actually lucky enough to miss them. I was about a month. Oh no, when I was stuck in Woodner, the fires were going right across the Nullarbor then. So I was about 3 weeks before they actually started on the Nullarbor. But the ones over east around New South Wales and Victoria, I was watching what was going on, and like if I had to add on another 300-400 k's to avoid them, I would have. I had people asking me, requesting me to come through the fire-ravaged towns and that. And initially, I did think about it, but it would have added like another 1,000 k's onto the journey, and I just I didn't. I felt like I was going to get in the way, and but yeah, I met a couple in Port Perry, and they actually just blew me away. I was there doing my walk. I was sitting outside, and they come over and started chatting to me, and they were just heading home back to New South Wales. Their property had been destroyed by the fire. And they gave me a donation, and I pretty much just broke down and couldn't believe these people were going back to nothing, but they still had the generosity handed over a donation for the walk, and it just blew me away. It just like these people are going through what they're going through, and it's just it just blew me away. I just sobbed in front of them, and we all had a bit of a silence. Very powerful moment.
Yeah. But again, it is such a personal and such a powerful cause as well. So again, it's one of those things. If you can relate, if you've had lost ones, like if you lost some loved ones to either like heavy depression and suicide, I can imagine why that would sort of supersede bushfires. But we've got another one here actually from Kim, which again, very, very good question. How did you come across any snakes? She says, how are the creepy crawlies at night?
yeah, I come across a few. I'm a huge animal lover, and if I seen a snake, I'd get out the camera and chase it around, but at a safe distance. And I couldn't think about those things. I had to dismiss that from my mind as well, and whenever I'd camp, I'd make sure the ground was clear, there was no twigs or anything, and I'd make noises, have the radio going, and just make enough noise to deter anything coming in. Yeah, I had a couple of close calls, but nothing too dramatic.
Yes, well, I'd say it would be a whole different situation, sort of having to call someone in the middle of the night, in the middle of the bush, if anything happened there.
Yeah, I left Mangala, and I was actually hanging to go to the toilet as I was walking along the highway. So I took a couple of steps off the side of the road and into the bush, and kind of standing there with the old boy hanging out, waiting to go to the toilet. And I looked down the side of me here, and here's a decent-sized brown snake just following me. He was actually passing me, and he was kind of up, like looking sideways at me as I was going along. So at that instant, I really stopped midstream and thought, no, I don't want to go to the toilet there, and I'll just wait till later. So quite fortunate I wasn't sitting down on the ground and when it come past, but yeah, it would have been a different story. But yeah, no, I just dismissed all that sort of thing. But yeah, and it goes back to having no fear, knowing that I was kept safe. Yeah, I felt safe the whole journey. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, because they're definitely out there. But I think you're right. You just gotta, know they're out there, but not worry too much about it. It's probably the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if I did see anything, I wouldn't go chasing or anything. I'd just keep a distance and either film it and let it go. But no, I didn't have too many close calls.
That's awesome. Then we've got a question here from Joe McQuillan.
Joe.
She's asking if you're going to focus on your music between now and the 23rd of August next year.
Yeah, I do want to get back into it, and I was asked to go back to the venue where I do most of it at here in Bunbury, the Prince of Wales, and I do want to get back into it. So I'm pretty pleased that all the gigs have started back up again, and I'm really hanging to get into a couple more and start filming again. Next week's going to be a big weekend. There's a few
of course,
going on in Perth, and I'm going up there to see Kim on Friday night actually, and then we have mates playing in Perth on Friday night, and some more mates playing on Saturday night, and then we have our gig on Sunday at Badlands.
Yep.
So I'm very excited for this weekend, and it's going to be quite a huge weekend. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Then we've got Sheldon Ang, she's asking if you've had any shoe endorsements requests from Nike yet. I suppose if you have over a whole year now to get sponsors, that should definitely be possible to get some sponsorship.
I think so. When I plan to walk back from Sydney, I plan to get some sponsors, and the worst part of our journey was asking for donations, and I didn't like that one, but although I had to, because seriously, it was the people that were donating and supporting the walk that got me across the country. So every one of them should be patting themselves on the back as well, because without them, I couldn't have done it. So I was the only one walking. They were the ones that were pushing me across. So I'm very, very grateful for all the support that I got. And so I don't want to ask for donations this time. It's all about raising awareness, and I'm sure with that walk behind me, they know I'm not full of it, and hopefully they'll get behind me and sponsor me.
Yeah. I saw one of the posts as well. I think someone was it JB Half or someone that gave you a donate a MacBook or something.
Oh, that was a laptop from JB Hi-Fi in Bendigo. I never actually went to Bendigo. I skimmed. I actually found a shortcut and took that. And they got in touch with my good mate Nathan and gave him a laptop for me, and he came and dropped it off for me in Maryborough. So I was very grateful for that. It's all set up so I can do my editing and all that. And seriously, I haven't really had to play with it yet. I just used it as a bit of a memory card to clear my phone, my iPad, and cameras. And then just build it back up again. So I was very grateful. And I kind of was, without knowing, materialising things right across the journey. If something that I needed, it would just appear on the side of the road, and like it was purposely placed there. It was too many weird things happened, and they are still happening today. And I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to be able to have that and just run with it.
But you are doing, what you're doing is quite unique. So that is probably why something like this is happening. Man, look, it's been absolutely amazing talking to you, Dno, and I'm so excited for Sunday and I think it'll be an absolutely memorable night.
Oh, it's great bands, Commander Panda. Well, I've been hanging out. I interviewed them a while ago, and I had to shoot away and do some work at another venue. And after I interviewed them, they were actually playing. I never got to see them, so I'm absolutely stoked they're going to be there. Phil's Wizard, can't wait. And Ashes of Autumn, there's another one that I can't wait for. Harry Foxton, I was fortunate enough to see a bit of him come and play a couple of songs in the radio station the other day when we done the interview up there. Can't wait for that. And Kim's band of Misfits. I'm just blown away by these guys taking the time out and doing this. And I'm pretty sure Phil Flizz has got a gig the day before, and they're coming to this gig Sunday. So just unbelievable. It's just humbling. I just can't believe this is happening.
They also they've actually three of the bands have taken the time out this week as well to actually come and have a chat on the show. I've got Mel and Matt from Ashes on tomorrow night, and Filth Wizard on Wednesday, awesome. and Commander Panda on Friday night. So.
Right.
So they all have the option to bring their fans on and do some more awareness for the gig as well, so we can try and get as many people down there as possible.
Fantastic. No, I hope it's a good day, and great Sunday session, I say.
Yeah, very long, very a big one. 5 bands. It's going to be awesome.
Just I do like my Jack Daniels. I'm just chucking that out there.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of them. I was about to say, just before we wrap off, can you just, if anybody is going to listen to this, because again, everything here will go out on a podcast in a couple of weeks. So can you just mention where people should head over on social media to try and keep up to date on your endeavors?
If you just hashtag the Walk for Hope or Walk for Hope, you'll come across it. It's pretty much the standard. It comes up first all the time when you type it in. The page is called the Walk for Hope. If you want to go into any of my music stuff, just head over to Dno Music on YouTube and Instagram. I didn't really, because the Walk for Hope page was actually my Dno Music page. I didn't really want to combine the two, but it just made it easier to write up the events as I was going through the towns and that's what it was good for. So I was a bit worried about, because I've got about 2,500 followers through the walk, and then I was kind of like going to tell them, like, you do know I support the local music scene after the walk, so this page will probably get inundated with live music. So I'm just going to leave that the walk folk as that, and just concentrate on my Instagram as the Dno Music and YouTube Dno Music. Yeah, I want to take this further. I want to keep it going. Watch this space.
So the next big event is the walk next year on the 23rd of August.
No, the next big event's on Sunday at Badlands.
That's okay. Fair enough. That's right.
So for the time being, New Zealand, 23rd of August, 2021.
Yep.
But you don't know with me. You just don't know. So it could be. A thought did come to my head, but we'll just leave it at that for the meantime.
We'll stay up to date on the Facebook page.
Yes, please do.
Excellent, Dno. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's incredible achievement what you've done and what you are still doing. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure all the best is coming for you. And I'm so excited to meet you on Sunday.
Thank you. I just can't wait. I seriously can't wait. And I'll see you on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much for tuning in or listening along to the show. If you like the show, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review and subscribe to my social channels. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me to build my networks and my chances of getting sponsors to keep this show running. If you want to take it to the next level, please head over to patreon.com/Stephen Helhammer and become a patron by joining the exclusive community there. You can start from as little as $3 per month. And for just a little extra, you get access to some fantastic features, outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, and much, much more. That's less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And that way you can help me build better content. I can devote more time to find awesome guests and just generally just keep everything flowing. If you want to be on the show or subscribe to my mailing list, send an email to steven@helhammer.com, and that is HELhammer.com. That way I can start sending you exclusive invites, random stuff, and messages that, who knows, you might enjoy. So that's it. Have a rocking day ahead, guys, and I will see you on the live stream or in your headphones very soon. Take it easy.